Hi, I wanted to do something on bullying for a while from the tarot card reader's point of view. And we have a lot of tools that can help people who have hurt feelings because I hear a lot about people committing suicide because they've been cyberbullied on social media, etc. And I was actually bullied over the phone the other day, so I wanted to uh, give some feedback on how to handle that. I got a reading on the telephone, and this guy was bullying me about his daughter uh, because she had married a millionaire and she was uh, going to court. And all he wanted to know, because he saw that I did numerology, never mind tarot, never mind the I Ching oracle, never mind astrology, never mind that he's the father and he's supposed to protect his daughter. And I kept telling him things he could do to help her get a better settlement, and he didn't want to hear it. All he wanted to know was a number through numerology about how much money he could get a check for in court in a couple of weeks. And that's not the best way to use a reading, but and he was bullying me because I wouldn't give him an exact number. I was giving him percentages. I was giving him outcomes. I was giving him background information. And he was yelling and screaming on the phone at me because I wouldn't give him an exact number. And finally, the reading ended in his total frustration about uh, not getting a number for the check he was going to get. And actually, the reading said he wasn't going to get any check when he went to court. So um, he upset me. And I could not be upset because I work in the spiritual realm. I must remain calm at all times. And I was going to make a donation for some needy veterans. And I didn't want any of this energy going out to these people who are making the world a better place. So I wanted to give you some solutions that you can get if you get tarot card readings, if you're on this service, and how to deal with it. So the first thing you need to do, if somebody is calling you names, is telling you something that is not true, is embarrassing you in front of a crowd, if you have a sibling or a parent who does not care about you or what you say or what you feel or what you think. That's bullying. All of it is. And we've been through it. So the first thing is if someone's putting you down and how you feel and what you think, and they're calling you names, every name they're calling you, they're talking about themselves. It's hard at the time because your heart is hurting and your breath is short. So you take deep breaths, and silence is your first weapon. How do you remain silent when someone is hurting your feelings? I know back in the day when we grew up, it was often said, sticks and stones can hurt my bones, but your words will never hurt me. Well, we know that's not true, especially if you're in school or in a social situation, confronted by the police, or people who have a duty to love you do not know what love is. So that's another thing you can think of. So the first thing is to listen carefully about who's bullying you. How do you know who's bullying you? Based on the words they use about you. They're talking about themselves. It takes one to know one. One of the tools that you can use, if you can, is get your hands on a crystal. This is a basic crystal. And crystals have the power to pull out negative energy because they are so positive. So this is a basic crystal for all kinds of pain. If you're still sitting there and you have pain because you've recently been bullied, uh, the rose quartz is one that you can put next to your heart, man or woman, male child, female child, and it will heal your heart. 21 days. Every day, all the time. Sleep with it. I use this type of rose crystal to wear in whatever type of breastband I have for 21 days because that heals your heart. And you can die of a broken heart. Back to people who commit suicide. Another thing you can do in the tarot world, since we're here on our phones and on our cameras and with our computers, is record the video or record the audio and say nothing, because everything you say can and will be used against you. So you remain quiet. So how do you remain quiet? Because you know you're having a recording and you don't want your voice on it, and you don't want to say anything that could be incriminating. You do not want to appear to the authorities or the police or your friends or the schoolyard or the parents and teachers that would incriminate you. You want all their focus and attention to be on the person and what they were saying about you. If you want to defend yourself, there's no point in defending yourself against a bully. He can't hear you. His whole thing is to force and intimidate you to do what they want. They want to step up on your neck to raise themselves, which already you know is this is a person of low self-esteem. But at the time, it doesn't feel like it, you know. So you record what they're saying. Now, if a person is a hard case, you have to make several recordings. If you do have a phone but no computer where you can upload it and keep it in a file and save it until you get enough evidence, you know, because sometimes one time is not enough, you've got a cloud. You can go to the library if you have Gmail and just upload these MP3s or MP4s into your cloud, and then you can put it together to be used later. How can you use it later? Well, you can use it later in a couple of weeks, because bullying happens every day. Of course, you can also keep copies of whatever was on whatever social media, and you can take it to whatever authority. You can have that person suspended. But the point is that they have to have consequences for their actions, and you don't want any consequences for yours. You cannot give them consequences, which is the way the Absolute intended it, if you're suicided. Also, I find it more practical is that if you've gotten away from the situation, and I say even 40 years later, they could be getting a divorce and you just happen to be sitting there and you see it in the newspaper, you hear it from a friend, you can send an anonymous copy to their wife's or their husband's defense attorney, you know, and that goes to character, and that's very effective in a court of law. It's also very effective in talking to the principal, because you can say they bullied me, and they're going to look at you and say, well, what did you do, you know, to make them bully you, you know, and they don't want to take responsibility. So you can force managers, principals, police, or anybody else to take action to protect you on your behalf if you have evidence. And today, with all our smartphones and flip phones and cameras and MP3 players, all of which record, it's ridiculous that you can't give some consequences. That will bring your esteem back, and that will bring your power back, and the word gets out, you're not going to be bullied. I do suggest that young people take self-defense courses, not so that they can get into a fight or beat anybody up. I myself play the piano and I'm a writer, so I can never get into a fight because I might get hurt. My fingers might get hurt. I might not be able to play the piano or write. So I can never get into a fight, and I never would. But what are you doing while you're standing there? You're thinking. And if you're taking karate, some sort of it, Uh, I know my sensei, who is a 10th degree black belt, said the first defense is to run. Now, they can jeer all they want, but you've got your hands and you've got your uh, not in the hospital, no limbs broken, and you can run to a safe place, run away. If they're coming after you, you should know your location so you can at least go to a place that has two walls on each side of you and one in the back, and pick up a weapon on the way until you can escape. Another mind control thing that you can do afterward, because you don't want to carry this devil, evil energy with you and put it on the next person and then make an enemy where there isn't one, where you have to maintain your equanimity, is what I happen to do in this case with this guy who's on the phone. I've never seen him, he's never seen me, is do a meditation. Now, I like morality plays. I watch television like Walker Texas Ranger. You know, being that I take karate, I know that some of the hits I see in that show are impossible to take, having been in sparring competitions. But, it's satisfying. Okay, so you can satisfy your own self through the tool of meditation. You can pretend that you're a Jedi in a Star Wars movie or something, or whatever you watch. Or, I don't recommend guns, but because that is not that's not doesn't work as well. It's not as satisfying as shooting somebody in your mind. But what is satisfying is if you're in a situation where you cannot be hit. And in my case, what I did with this guy who was screaming and yelling at me, I said, well, this guy has abused his daughter, because that $200,000 that he thinks his daughter is getting is not his money. So obviously she was abused and ran away to get married, and obviously he feels that whatever she gets, he's ready to bully her and take her money. So I told him, frankly, you're not going to get a check. Doesn't matter what amount of money they write anybody a check for. It's her check, not his check. But I didn't say that to him. But I understand her dilemma. So you put yourself in a movie, and what I did was I put myself in an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger. And I was Walker, and I gave him a beatdown, you know, like Walker does for the bad guys. Because a bully is a criminal. A bully should be in jail. A bully needs consequences to stop him. Nothing but brute physical force will stop them. So when I hung up the phone, I, you know, combined some of the best fight scenes I've seen on Walker, Texas Ranger in my mind, and I did a Walker, Texas Ranger on him. And it took about 15 minutes, and it took about 3 or 4 fights, but afterward, all the negative energy I had, without using any type of crystal, without having to carry a rose crystal to protect my heart, and a broken heart will kill you, will cause you to use drugs or smoke and drink, all these things take years off your life. And when you're older, and you have kids in your own family and you want to make the better a place, you need every minute you can on this earth. So I calmed myself down in 15 minutes, and 15 minutes, that's important. It takes time. So you have to walk away. First of all, get away. Hopefully you can run to a safe place. If they're boys, into the women's room, that's a safe place. And in a stall, you have your phone. You can call for help. If the bullies, like family members or siblings, call the police on you for ringing the doorbell to see your mother and they don't want you to for whatever reason, right in front of the police, you can pull out your device, go into your audio or your video, and hit record, and then keep your mouth shut. Not only that, while you have your phone, you can be looking down, like I am, while I'm talking, going into the camera, hitting record. And I would suggest, since I just hit the wrong one, you should practice. Okay, so here we got the right one, and I've done this when I got it started. When I started this, okay, I started recording, and at that point, you need to be quiet because everything you say can and will be held against you, whether you're in a court of law or not. And it takes your mind out of the attack, puts an automatic shield up for those of you who have not gotten a shield, which is something I can give you in a reading session. And now you're focusing on, is it recording? Is it working? I got here. Okay? And when it's over, after you've walked away, you might record something for yourself to say, I got to find a crystal store, or I feel terrible, or what he said made me feel bad. But when you've walked away or ran away and you're in control, there is nothing wrong with running away. And then after that, you're done. And it's just amazing. I've done this a couple of times right in front of the police. And I don't know what they think you're doing, but it is legal to record the police as well as it is legal to record a bully. If you're in an altercation, you have 100% right to record. And then you meditate on it. You think about what hurt you. Well, what hurt me when I was in this reading was this guy was blaming me for something that wasn't my responsibility when he was totally wrong. And it occurred to me that he was a bully, which has motivated this video, which is also making me feel better. So you need to go into meditation and say, what exactly did that person say? What was the circumstances? What was everything? Play it over in your mind, with your heart protected or your mind protected. And try to find a pranic healer so that you can get the best type of chakra healing that will help you. Okay? And try to get those regularly. All right? But it's important to break down the situation. So instead of being surrounded by people, even if you're in a school and you can't escape, but plot an out and surround yourself by people who love you for who you are. But then again, you have to know who you are. If people around me don't appreciate music or don't appreciate sports, I stay away from those people. If those people don't appreciate animals or any of the things that I love that strengthens my heart, I stay away from those people. Okay? And you have to not only stay away, but you can get a reading for other things that you could do, which could be anything. But the important thing is never to take yourself out behind something that someone else says. They are just words. Words hurt. But being uptight and tense is fodder for the devil. The devil loves people who are angry, envious, jealous. So leave those people to the devil. But in real life, they don't always get what they deserve, and you have the power to kind of nudge it along. But in any event, suicide is not an option because you don't know what your destiny is on this world and what you can do to make it a better place. Don't worry about your parents. They're not at school. They're not with you. It's on you. You have to have personal power so you can live to see another day. So those are some suggestions, which is a start. But do not allow people to bully you. Hopefully I'll see you in a private session for reading and we can go more in depth for your particular story. Thank you. Have a great day. Be happy, be joyful, be calm, be centered, be loving. And most of all, find yourself so you can love yourself and attract someone who will truly love you, not the reactions of other people.